Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Rafael P. Roman. Public officials are demanding answers today after inmates at a federal prison in Brooklyn spend more than a week confined to their cells with no heat or electricity during some of the coldest days the city has ever experienced. Over the weekend, families of inmates gathered outside the Metropolitan Detention Center in Sunset Park to protest what they called inhuman conditions. At one point, protesters tried to storm the building and were reportedly driven back by pepper spray. Heat and electricity were finally restored Sunday night, but state and city officials are calling for a full investigation into what happened and for someone to be held accountable. Joining us now to talk about this troubling situation as well as some of the latest developments around the HUD-NYCHA deal and congestion pricing is City Council Member Richie Torres. Council Member, thank you so much for joining us today.
Honored to be here.
So 1,600 inmates at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn were without heat or electricity for at least 36 hours, much more likely, as I said in the introduction, for over a week. How did this happen?
Well, the practice of caging inmates in freezing prisons without heat, without power, in 19th century conditions demonstrates how callous and almost criminal the Trump administration can be. I see it as a humanitarian crisis, as a human rights violation, and I support the governor's call for an investigation by the Justice Department. A number of federal defenders who are representing the inmates are petitioning the district court to appoint a special monitor or an independent arbiter who can conduct an independent investigation. I suspect the problems with the Bureau of Prisons is much deeper than this episode.
But you know, the Bureau of Federal Prisons, which is in direct control of this facility, they're saying that the reports aren't accurate. That in fact, the prisoners always had hot water.
Yeah.
And that medical staff was periodically monitoring them cell by cell and giving meds to those who needed meds. Your response to that?
I mean, the evidence is overwhelming. We have firsthand testimony from the inmates themselves, from their family members, from their lawyers. A number of elected officials, including the New York City congressional delegation, took a tour of the facility and saw the lack of heat and power firsthand. Mm-hmm. So the evidence is overwhelming that the Bureau of Prisons first was denying that there was even a problem, and then was refusing to take action, and only took action after public shaming from the media and grassroots activists. So the eventual result, which was the restoration of power and heat, was really a triumph of grassroots mobilization.
So besides further investigations into this, you know, which the governor and the attorney general and you and your fellow local elected officials are calling for, what can you really do about this? It's a federal controlled facility.
It is federal, but the city was able to play a constructive role in solving the crisis. We sent an emergency response team of OEM employees who had blankets, hand warmers, generators. So while the Trump administration was part of the problem, the city of New York demonstrated that we were part of the solution.
All right. So let's turn to congestion pricing. You know, what is called the first phase of congestion pricing went into effect this weekend, which means that cabs going in or out of Manhattan below 96th Street, they will charge an extra $2.50.
Yeah.
Other car services like Uber or Lyft, $2.75, and carpool services, 70 cents extra. Is this good for New York City? Is it good for your constituents in the Bronx?
It is, because the congestion pricing, again, it's no substitute for comprehensive congestion pricing. We're only referring to taxis and for-hire vehicles, but it is a step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. It's going to begin the process of creating a dedicated revenue stream for the MTA, which is crumbling. The MTA has a signal system that predates World War II, and so the obsolete signal system has led to overcrowding, delays. We've seen a decline in ridership, so more riders are fleeing the MTA in favor of for-hire vehicles, which is compounding congestion on our streets.
But you know that this law, congestion pricing, or the first phase of it, was supposed to go into effect January 1st. But it was delayed because cabbies filed a lawsuit against the law, and there was an injunction on the law until last Thursday. Now the cabbies say that this will finally destroy the yellow cab industry, and they are calling it the suicide tax in reference to the 8 cabbies who committed suicide last year because of economic distress. Don't they have a point? Isn't this hitting them hard?
I have real empathy for the plight of taxi drivers who many of whom spent all of their lives buying a medallion, as one would buy a home, as a path to the American dream. And the rise of for-hire vehicle platforms like Uber
Yeah, that was the first whammy. It's really
has
lowered
led to
their income.
a collapse in the value of these medallions. So
Is this the second whammy?
there is something to the argument that it is cruel to impose a surcharge on working class taxi owners whose world is collapsing around them, whose livelihoods are endangered. So I am sympathetic to that argument. So
What can you do about it?
there could have been more. I think the real challenge is how do we create a program that provides relief to owners whose medallions have collapsed in value.
So you say the goal is to have all cars coming in and out of lower
Yes.
Manhattan below 96th Street. When is that going to happen?
Well, it's going to be one of the subjects of budget and legislative negotiations between the governor and the state legislature. The governor is supportive of congestion pricing, but the Democratic conference is divided. There are a number of Democrats, particularly from the outer boroughs, who are resistant to congestion pricing. I consider their resistance misguided because the MTA desperately needs a dedicated revenue source, whether it be a commuter tax or congestion pricing.
Okay, so let's turn to the deal between HUD and the city regarding NYCHA, which HUD Secretary Ben Carson and Mayor de Blasio essentially called, and I'm not quoting them, I'm just giving the sense of what they refer to it as basically as a game changer, as a bright new day for the residents of NYCHA. You, on the other hand, literally called it garbage. What does it do? What doesn't it do? And why do you disrespect it so?
Well, I mean, I will respect an agreement that's worth respecting. To call it a game changer is deceptive advertising.
Well, they didn't call it, as I said. I'm characterizing.
But that was the message from the city and from HUD. We have to recognize that NYCHA is in a state of emergency. The agreement provides no new emergency funding from the federal government, no emergency powers, no regulatory relief that would enable NYCHA to make better, cheaper, faster repairs. But the worst part of it, no court supervision. So the Southern District, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, withdrew the legal case, the legal complaint against NYCHA, and in doing so has excluded the federal court from the process of reviewing and enforcing the agreement. The only institution that public housing residents could trust to hold NYCHA accountable was the federal court, Judge Pauly, who rejected the original agreement.
You know, but Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. Said it's no panacea, but it's some progress. Isn't it better than the status quo? Isn't it better than nothing?
I mean, if you're appointing a chair who has neither the resources nor the legal powers to reform NYCHA, to renovate the crumbling infrastructure, then you're setting that chairperson up for failure. Right? Albert Einstein famously said, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity.
Okay, we have less than a minute, but...
And one more thing about the agreement. The agreement gives NYCHA 20 years to abate all lead in public housing. So by the time NYCHA's done abating lead, I will have an AARP card.
All right.
I mean, that's how absurd the agreement is.
Talk about revenues very quickly now because we're almost out of time. NYCHA itself said it needs $32 billion to fix what ails it. Only $2.2 billion have been committed by the city towards NYCHA, and the federal government has committed no money to it, no extra money to it. How are you going to fill the gap?
We need an infusion. I mean, NYCHA is an endangered species. I analogize NYCHA to a gravely ill patient who's in need of emergency care. And what we need is an infusion of emergency funding, just like the federal government will provide emergency bonds in the midst of a natural disaster like Katrina. The federal government should be infusing emergency bonds for repairs in public housing because the alternative is demolition by neglect.
We'll have to end it there. Councilmember Torres, thank you so much for joining us today.
Honor to be here.